Yes, sir. If you didn't know by now, the moon has officially slid into Pisces, y'all. And with that in mind, we're going to get to the real shit in a minute. But first, if you got it, it's time to put some flame to this motherfucker and just vibe.
Yeah, they got it, Bobby.
That bitch is live, ain't it? Yeah. I was on one. Just get ready. Just open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. What that Pisces moon do? Just open up your ear and get ready to let me crawl into your mind. What it was, man. Y'all already know who it is. If not, there you go. Y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge itself. And this right here, this ain't shit but a little cosmic insight, y'all. And we had to center ourselves because the one we finna get into right now, it's a motherfucker. Because this right here, this gonna be a little something about those people that have Saturn in the 5th house of their natal chart. No fun. Yeah. Anyway, man, you know, before I actually even get into that, you already know what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna bring y'all a little information on what Saturn is in astrology. Then after that, I'm gonna bring y'all a little information on, you know, the 5th house of the astrological chart. And then after that, we're gonna bring it all to a culmination, baby. So, without further ado, you know what time it is. And so, if you don't know by now, you know, Saturn is the motherfucking resident disciplinarian and taskmaster of the motherfucking zodiac. And it ain't gonna make shit easy at all. And being the ruler of the sign Capricorn in the 10th house, you know, Saturn is gonna make you put the work in if you ever want to see, you know, true results. And like the priceless message of Jesus Christ himself, you know, if Jupiter feeds you a fish, you know, and feed you for that day, Saturn is going to teach you to fish and you'll never be hungry again, you know. And that's real. It also rules the sign of Aquarius in the 11th house of the zodiac chart to a lesser degree, but it does rule them. And, that means it's okay to yearn to rule the world. And, Saturn is also all about time and all of its usefulness and all of its limitations. So it also rules over old age and the lessons that come along with that too. And wherever Saturn shows up in our chart, it shows where you feel most restricted, where you feel obligations and fears. And, the sign placement of Saturn, it shows the type of energy connected with your obligations. And the house placement of Saturn in the natal chart, it shows the area of life where you feel restricted in and where you must learn to work hard to obtain the things that, are going to come to you. And the aspects, they show the most direct involvement of other areas of life with feelings of responsibility. Yeah. Lastly, Saturn takes about 28 to 32 years to traverse the whole zodiac and return to the place where it was at the exact time of birth. And when it does that, that's called your Saturn return. And when that happens, a lot of events are going to happen in your life. And, ultimately, it's going to be very tumultuous, but probably ultimately it's going to end up with, some lessons being learned and you coming out better for it in the end. When I was young and when I first got into astrology, a decade ago or so, I didn't understand Saturn. I was scared of Saturn. And, as I've grown older and I've matured, now Saturn is my favorite because Saturn has gave me the skills to pay the bills. Or, well, maybe I did that. That's Saturn. So when we talk about the 5th house of the zodiac chart, with the 4th being all about home and your roots, the 5th is where you kind of burst onto the scene in your full motherfucking glory, man. And, it's ruled by Leo and the sun, and it represents the natural blooming of your character. And, that's in its most concentrated form. And it's in the 5th that, the great test involves the ability to act out one's innermost nature in terms of purity of motive. Yeah. And this is the house of creativity, drama, fun, and children. And it's about, outward positive release of one's energies. And it's kind of here that, you do your best shit, bro. Real talk. And, whatever signs that are on the cusp and the planets in the base, in the house, pardon me, they kind of show where your power lies creatively. Or, how you portray yourself on the grand stage of life. And, this is how you should get your shine on. That's what the 5th house is all about. My moon is in the 5th house in Pisces. Yeah. And shout out to them Pisces moons and Pisces suns. We got this Pisces new moon, it's finna hit with Venus in Pisces, exalted, but back to the motherfucking regular schedule program. The 5th is, about your passion and what stirs it. And it really speaks, it really speaks to how we express joy for life. And, that's in an outward way, most definitely. And if a malefic like Saturn is here, for example, it can show your enthusiasm and creativity being repressed. And, here's the realm of the eternal child. And, the 5th is also, speaks to where we have the most fun. And it's about children too, man. Yeah. It is beautiful to me. But when we talking about having Saturn in the 5th, man, it gets interesting. Let me light this real quick, all right? It does get interesting. Because, I feel like there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about regarding this placement. But I think more than anything else, having Saturn here, and I do know several people, and you know, closely that do have Saturn right here in the fifth. I want to say that more than anything else, having Saturn here makes them feel like no one loves or appreciates them enough. And that, coupled with the fact that they're extremely inhibited from an emotional and creative standpoint, it also kind of makes them a little cold romantically. Just kind of like, I don't know what to call it, man, but it just goes along with the game. You know what I'm saying? It just goes along with the game. There's a phrase I was looking for, but I'm out of there. And so it's not going to come to my mind right as off top. But anyway, and, they have this little complex where they kind of long to be the life of the motherfucking party. But, you know what I'm saying? They're also so motherfucking standoffish and defensive that they end up being a motherfucking killjoy a lot of the motherfucking time. I mean, that's real. And, they yearn to be fucking admired and loved for who the fuck they are. But they also get stuck in the motherfucking cross because they really struggle to know their own fucking true worth. So this placement is really definitely, one of the harder ones too. I'm also going to tell you, Saturn is a motherfucker all the way around, but this one, it's harsh. And in a general sense, if there even is such a thing as a general sense in astrology, which there probably isn't, so I really shouldn't even just say that type of shit. But, with this here, they can expect restrictions, fears, trials, and tribulations, centered around their love life, especially in a casual expression of it, creative self-expression and, relationships with children or anything having to do with children, at least until after that first Saturn return or a little bit, around 30, after that, 30, 35. And that's just being real. And that's how it works. And despite the fucking obvious that we just kind of mentioned real quick, they're just going to have to work extra hard on developing their creative side and also getting the nerve up to get their motherfucking shine on, as well as learning how to smile and have fun and be more motherfucking spontaneous, because, that's something that's real hard for them to do. And when it comes to fifth house Saturn people, y'all, learning how to be comfortable in their own skin is always going to be a major obstacle they're going to have to overcome in this lifetime, especially when they're younger. They just have a real hard time opening up, and that kind of manifests in a whole bunch of fucking different ways, And as I was kind of alluding to earlier, unless they have a real fire dominant chart, Saturn here, and that could be, unless they're just a Sagittarius or a Leo or Aries, and it's still going to affect it, but it would help out in this aspect. Saturn here kind of suggests a lack of spontaneity, and, they tend to be more serious and kind of want to control everything. And, finding that connection with their inner child for them, that's going to be fucking damn near impossible. Is there an inner child there? Because when they were children, they probably never got to grow up. And that's why they're in this place now. You know what I'm saying? The inner child is missing because they probably never got to have a child, or they were just, a really old soul. And there's a whole bunch of different ways that I said that about 7 times. That this could play out, man. And you're just going to have to know individual people. But, these people ain't never going to really be the life of the party by any sense of the phrase. Really, from what I've seen and in my experience with them, they really prefer to sit at home and talk shit about the people that win instead of, what I'm saying? Instead of just going. Yeah, because they really don't get that shit. They feel like maybe at a certain point they became too mature for that shit or something like that. Or maybe they've always been above that shit. Saturn in the fifth, These people, they want to be productive at all costs and at all times, even in their free time, man. You know, if there is such a thing. There's restrictions in their ability to just relax and have some fucking fun. And instead, they always kind of feel like some shit, it needs to just get done. And that's hard. Not only that, I've seen it play out in the person who kind of feels guilt and shame for expressing themselves outwardly. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they grew up in a family that has a business, so they had to work and really never got to know what it is or what it's like to be a child. So they don't know how to express themselves, you know, down to the very primal emotions. You know what I'm saying? And or maybe they had parents who shamed them, or, you know what I'm saying, who weren't nurturing or appreciative of their creative pursuits for whatever reason. And they wanted to do that, but their parents were like, no, you got this work to do. You know what I'm saying? You got to do this. That's not what we do. And that could be a mug. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had kids very young, you know what I'm saying, and always have had to work, you know what I'm saying? So they never got to be a kid themselves or enjoy things themselves, you know what I'm saying? So this could be very serious, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, on the flip side, you know, maybe their creativity has been exploited as work since they were little kids. I could see this also being like child star placements, you know what I'm saying? Like little kids, like I don't know where Michael Jackson's Saturn was, you know what I'm saying? But like this is the type of family like that would be, you know, the fifth house where he's always saying, have you seen my childhood? You know, all that fucking crazy ass shit, man. But, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have a childhood, you know what I'm saying? And it fucked him up. And that's kind of like what goes on here in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And also when they were kids, it don't even matter because they were real serious ass little kids. And I know, I've known these people that I do know with Saturn and Fish since we were very young, and they're a lot more cool now than they were when we were kids, man. Like they was assholes, man. And that's just kind of how it goes, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, whatever happened, it just kind of took the fun out of life for them when they were younger. And speaking of which, you know, the fifth is the house of romance and, you know, casual sexual encounters. And what this does is make them, you know, really not with all that shit at all. You know what I'm saying? Or at least, you know, it's very hard for them to do that type of shit, man. They're more reserved, and, you know, it's really hard for them to allow themselves to enjoy things like that without feeling fucked up about it. You know what I'm saying? Especially until way after that Saturn return, and then it might ease up on them. And I ain't gonna lie either. If we talk about that, they ain't gonna, with Saturn right here in the fifth, they're not gonna be the best when it comes to flirting and, you know what I'm saying, and just doing that shit for the sake of it, or dating just for fun casually. They have a serious approach to just about everything, man. And they want a date to turn into a relationship. And if it ain't worth that, you know what I'm saying, then it ain't even worth going on a date at all or taking the time to fool with the motherfucker. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how it is. And, you know, the fifth is also all about kids. So I'm going to keep it all the way 1,000 and say that, you know, Saturn could restrict them having kids until later in life, or they could have kids earlier in their life and they felt restricted by their kids until their kids got older, which is around that Saturn return, to really be a little more self-sufficient, and then they were able to chill out and have a little bit more of a life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a way that could play out. I know this. Yes, I'm good. You know. And at the same time, you know, whether it be male or female, you know what I'm saying, their dad, you know what I'm saying. No, what I'm trying to say is, whether they're male or female, man, I'm talking about the native, you know, they're going to be more like a dad than they are like a mom. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind of how they handle things. You know what I'm saying? And they're probably a very structured parent, and they have a lot of expectations. And there's also a good chance that, their first child would be a Capricorn or an Aquarius, or, just have a lot of Saturn energy in that chart. You get what I'm saying? And regardless of all that, you know what I'm saying? No matter what happens, just remember that when we're dealing with Saturn, it's going to get better with age. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be you, through the lessons you've learned, that have helped your ass out. But at the same time, it don't matter where Saturn is or where any of these placements are, Chiron or Black Moon Lilith, just because you built like that, don't mean you have to build like that, man. You don't have to feed into the negativity. You can leave that bullshit alone. We have all this energy available to us in all of our charts, man. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us what the fuck we do with it. And then even beyond that, it ain't about what we do. It's about how the fuck we do it, man. Okay? And so that's just really a little bit about what it is, bro. I appreciate all the love and support, man. This has been some priceless knowledge of self, man. If y'all fuck with me on any level, man, y'all can like, share, subscribe, man. When y'all do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell icon, man, so you can be notified, when I drop shit, which is several times a week, as we all know this. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's anybody that produces content at the rate that I do, also the quality that I do with the information. You know what I'm saying? I stay on point. I'm going to stay on point. It's nothing but love, man. And that's what it is. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings, man, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com, man. And also, that goes with the merch. You know what I'm saying? The hats, the hoodies. You can get you a matching hoodie and a hat. Do I have to turn around again and show it to y'all real quick? We are super live, bro. But anyway, all bullshit to the side, man. You know what to do. If anybody's interested in making donations, man, which I ain't never seen nobody do it, you can see it in the link below. But understand that I don't never care anyway. I love all y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let it be known that avenue is there. You know what I'm saying? Best believe. Because this is hard work. But I'll be back in a little bit with a little something about those people that have Saturn in the 3rd house of their natal chart. Yeah. On request.